we've talked a lot about Geordie Barrett and how when in Leinster and how he's come back even better than he was before he left. Rieko Ioane, Brynner, that game for Leinster against Edinburgh, he was in absolutely everything and doing all the things that he has always been criticised for around distribution.
That Leinster team seems to bring the best out of players. And, we're talking Geordie Barrett and what he was able to do in Leinster and him coming back to be a better footballer. And even you look at him now, the way that his skill set is, you'd have to think his time at Leinster and the coaching and the players and how they do play was able to give him that 5 to 10% better being a better player. And like no different for Rieko. I think, if you look at Rieko being in Auckland his whole life, being in New Zealand his whole life, getting to experience something different and different players and a different style and being able to train that on an everyday basis. And whether he's playing 13 or he's on the wing, you can only think, Jipper, that it's going to be beneficial for the Blues when he does come back. But I think for the All Blacks as well. Like what we saw Geordie Barrett when he was coming back, we talked to him, raved around how he was playing in that competition. And we're now seeing a better version with him being over in Leinster for that short period of time.
Yeah, and I think to get out of the negativity, and I don't mean that in an aggressive way or defensive way. Like everyone knows I love Reeks, but you imagine if you can play a good game and they're just going to find they just didn't like you. They're going to find a way to have a crack. And I think he's gone over there. They probably were a little bit hesitant when he first went over with his interactions with Johnny Sexton, but I think when you look at the media narrative, like he's getting pumped up.
Yeah.
And as any individual, like when there's some positivity and some G up, we're all going to get up. And I think that just getting out of that bubble, that New Zealand rugby bubble, the Auckland bubble, the weight of expectation that everyone sort of puts on him, he just looks like he's playing with freedom. And the other thing I've noticed is he doesn't care if he's centre or wing anymore. I think that's a big thing for him to grasp. Like he really wanted that centre role and obviously spent some time on the wing, but he's rotated between those roles for Leinster. And I think what you were saying, like we're starting to see these roving wingers, like wingers don't stay on one side anymore. And his centre skill set is really paying dividends, like he's hovering around, getting balls out the back, distributing nice, flat, crisp passes, identifying when defence's hips are at the wrong place and he injects that pace. It's really exciting. I'm just really happy for him because it took a lot of courage to choose to go to that team. I don't care what you say. Like you've had a crack at the king. You've really had a crack there. So I just think, that's Rieko Ioane though. He is a courageous young man and he's getting the rewards.
So Leslie Rayasi, Brynner, I'm not sure if you've seen the highlights of these tries he's scoring in France. Goodness gracious me, like he's gone up another level.
I did see the footwork and he put it on on ice skates. But yeah, I think, look, Celestia, when he was here in New Zealand, he was doing those kind of things. But I think, sometimes when you do get to go have an opportunity somewhere else, especially in a different country, you get the best out of you. I think, sometimes when, I've seen some players that have been in New Zealand their whole time, have been in one place, but then, you put them in an uncomfortable situation, going overseas, a different language, a different country, and you kind of mature. And it just seems like, when Celestia was going here, we talked to him around maybe being in the All Blacks or being pretty close to that level, but getting the opportunity to go overseas and doing the things that he's doing in France, and hopefully, you never know, probably won't happen, but would he come back? It'd be great to see him come back into New Zealand rugby with how he's performing over there in France.
Oh, they won't let him go now.
Back-to-back hat-tricks.
He will be an absolute superstar in that town. There's no doubt. It's great to see. Like, Celestia sort of was playing in Blues development when I was in the Blues, and just a really good man. Works hard, good, honest guy that just goes at his craft. He's always had this X factor, but I do think it shows how far you have to lift because of the amount of talent in the top 14. It's a good comp. It is great to watch. Yes, the French don't like travelling for away games, but when they play at home, these teams are expected to win. And I think that pressure and that edge definitely brings the best out of the superstars.